Hey guys, Isaac Hyman, HiFlyer Digital here. Thank you for joining me on my webinar where we're talking all about your 2024 email and SMS roadmap for e-commerce brands to help you hit your goals instantly. I just want to make sure we're streaming correctly here. Looks like this is 1 second here. Okay, I think we're good to go. I think Facebook may have some issues, but not a problem. We will continue on. So our 2024 email and SMS strategy roadmap that we're talking about right now is going on, and we're super excited. I'm really excited to share the strategies I've run out successfully for the top brands, 9 and 10-figure brands out there that has helped me hit my goals and helped the brands and clients I work with right now hit their goals faster than you can ever imagine. And best of all, we're going to do this in about 60 minutes, right? Hold me to it, about 45 minutes. I say in my slides about 45 minutes, but usually these go about 60 minutes, give or take. It's a lot to cover, but at the end of the webinar, you will have enough information to understand how to plan out your entire strategy, your entire goals, and hit them in about 60 minutes, for the rest of 2024. So let's jump right in. Let me move this over here. Okay, so our mission in the next 60 minutes, I'm going to show you the entire email and SMS strategy and retention strategy of the top brands that they use to triple their email and SMS revenues every year. It starts, and as you'll see, it starts with a great foundation to your brand. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to get that foundation, how to move it along month after month, go from crawl to walk to run to fly, four stages, I guess, and all tied into the HiFlyer digital strategy, right? That kind of aviator type of approach, and how to do it for your brand at the very start of the year, because that's really the best time to start. So let's jump right in. By the end of this webinar, you will be able to do 3 things. These are the promises I'm giving to you as a brand. These are the 3 things I was the VP of retention. I would want to take out these 3 things as well. So these are the 3 things I'd like you to accomplish and take away from this webinar. Number 1, you're going to be able to create a complete 2024 email and SMS strategy in half the time. It's no more winging it. You can start winning it. I'm going to teach you how to implement quarterly goals, strategies, and tech to go from crawl, walk, run to fly, to launch, to scale, right? And that's step number 3. I want to make sure that you set your business up to scale by 300%, maybe more, maybe less, depends on your list, depends on your brand, but within 12 months, okay? I want to put you in a position to grow by leaps and bounds. And I'm going to show you some case studies that actually make that happen, okay? And you'll see for yourself. A lot of the clients we work with thought they had a lot of revenue from email. I've repositioned what they think about email in general, how they think about email, SMS, and retention. And that's kind of our secret sauce. So we're going to go into all that on this webinar. Super excited. I have another thing here. If you stay till the end, right? If you are with me till the very end of this webinar, I will be sharing all this content, all this value for free. You will get it for free. It's about a $13,000 value. Within this, we have my email and SMS playbook right here. See that right there? My ultimate e-commerce email and SMS playbook, 330 pages of strategies that you can take for yourself. Took a long time to write it, constantly editing it, making sure it's up to date. You're going to get my Mach 10 Masterclass, a preview of it. It's my new Masterclass, so I'll talk about in a second. Email lookbook, cheat sheet, my top 10 automations that I've run out myself. Our campaign calendar for 2024. We're still working on that one. It takes a lot more time than I thought. Our e-commerce growth guide, all this value that you didn't think existed, that I never had. When I was a VP of retention, I didn't have all this stuff, right? And I couldn't help my brand plan it out. So I built it all, and now I'm giving it away for free. I'm going to give this out to you directly. It's mainly for e-commerce brands. So to be total disclaimer, it's if you're an e-commerce brand, this is yours for free. If you're not an e-commerce brand, maybe you're an agency or an expert, you can always join our Retention Nation group or even get the masterclass or buy it. And that's actually the next point. I want to remind everyone here, last month, we just launched my Mach 10 email masterclass. It's the ultimate email course. It's created by me, a former VP of email, SMS, and retention for the top brands, right? The 9 and 10-figure brands out there. I created a whole course for you to learn how to do email and SMS and retention extremely well, like the top brands, right? It's not a class or a course that will just kind of like have you tread water, and just kind of, if you don't know where to go, if you don't know how the potential of where you could be, then you'll never get there, right? A lot of courses, a lot of freelancers, a lot of books out there just teach you kind of very entry-level tactics, and you'll look at emailmasterclass.com, you'll learn it for yourself, but very entry level. And I downloaded a lot of it. I bought a lot of it, spent a lot of money, and I realized they were just kind of very basic and things that I could get from Klaviyo, Omnisend, it's already. So this course will allow you to think deeper, better strategy, and the strategy is how to build better customer relationships with your list. That's the main thing. So it's going on now, 50% off, even better. So go to emailmasterclass.com after this and let's get moving on, not just consuming content, but taking action. Let's talk a little bit about myself, just kind of an overview about what my background is. Why am I talking about this topic right now? What makes me qualified? So I was the VP of email SMS and retention at the top 1%, the top brands out there, the 9 and 10 figure brands you probably know and love. I wrote the book on it, the author of the Ultimate E-commerce Email SMS Playbook. I've sent over 1 billion emails annually. I've attributed about $300 million in revenue. I've tested, learned, refined, probably one of the most amounts of testing you could find out there. I've tested on the top brands, so I don't need to have any guesswork. Managed multi-million email lists even now. Award winner for best email performance. I was a guest speaker at eTail, Post Funnel, Maple. I just did an SMS webinar for Black Friday Cyber Monday. And I've worked with hundreds of brands and e-commerce stores internationally. But the biggest takeaway I'd like you to have from this, to understand, to know, like, and trust what I'm saying, is that I've been on your side of the table. Like I said, I was the VP of retention. I've hired agencies, fired agencies, been burnt by agencies, and I actually set out to make HiFlyer Digital much, much better, and I'm very different than the typical expert you may see out there. And best of all, I've done it. I've tested it out at the top brands, and now I bring it all to you. So let's get into kind of why, in my experience, why no plan really sucks, okay? I think this is the red slide here, yeah. My team of 5, right? My team was totally stuck in sending emails. We were designing, writing, and launching emails. And eventually over time, without a plan, this is back, 4 or 5 years ago, without a plan, we would just every day, same thing. How much money can we make today? How much today? How much today? At the end of the month, we looked at the numbers and either we hit our goals or we were totally off. And there was just this panic mode at the end of the month or at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year even, where you're like, wow, we're way off our numbers. We need to hit our goals. We need to hit our numbers right here. Or, the company won't grow, right? And then that sucks for everyone. So, and then revenue just grew by trickles, right? 5% year over year, very modest. But because we also resorted to this spray and pray approach over time without a plan, customer churn and unsubs started rising. Okay, so that's the downside, right? Not only did revenue barely grow, customer churn, unsubscribes started, shooting through the roof, right? And in addition to that, I had constant shiny new object syndrome. We constantly were chasing the next big fad, and that didn't allow us to settle in and say, you know what? What's our plan? This is just a tactic. I need a strategy. We need a 12-month strategy, milestones, benchmarks, goals, instead of chasing after the next best thing. And the epiphany that happened was that I created a monthly plan with milestones, benchmarks, and goals, the exact thing I was missing. And that goal was to do a lot of the heavy lifting at the first half of the year, and the second half of the year be on more cruise control, right? Kind of let it fly from there. And it takes that big heavy lifting, it takes the analysis, it takes the data, it takes the diving into your ESP's functionalities, it takes the good segmentation, personalization, automation at the very beginning to get your foundation, know where you need to be, what's your capabilities, and then the second half of the year is where you see massive, massive growth, okay? And that's why 2 case studies right here. I grew 9-figure brands revenues from 45 million to 75 million in just 8 months. And I sent 11% fewer emails and texts, right? That's kind of a massive win. We sent fewer emails, right? No more in the weeds, no more stuck, no more like struggling to get by. And we were growing revenue by millions in 8 months. Imagine the result that has and the impact that has for the brand, right? Millions that they can fund their operations, invest in new strategies, invest in new endeavors. I even grew a 10-figure brand's email revenue from 6 million. That number's wrong. It's actually about 10 million to 30 million in 12 months. Another example, right? Because of the roadmap. We had a plan in place. Every month we hit our benchmarks. Every month we hit our milestones. By the end of the year, whoa, acceleration. Okay. Now the HiFlyer digital clients are actually growing by 300% first 90 days with our plan or so. And because we get this running start at the very beginning of how we run our plan, because we're the experts in this, so we kind of get that jump start. But most clients over time will see a massive change in their email and SMS revenues that allow them to invest in other endeavors and other tactics, invest in ads, acquisition, their website, and it just helps everyone. So that's why having a plan is much better, and having no plan really sucks. And I'll go into this a little bit more in depth. A little bit about us. Well, we're on a mission, right? We are not just sending emails. Anyone that tells you they want to send more emails for you, that's just wrong. No one wants to send emails. Anyone could send an email, to be honest, right? We're on a mission to help your brand build better customer relationships, okay? Because if you have a better customer relationship, you can send them anything and they will buy from you, right? Or they will converse with you, or they will want to hear from you, because the magic is in building better customer relationships. It's not sending emails. That's the how, right? What's the why? Why do we exist? We exist to help brands build better customer relationships. If you don't have that relationship, you can't send anything to them and nothing will work. So it doesn't even matter. So if you get to the root of it and connect with the person behind the inbox and build a relationship with that person, unlimited revenue potential. How do we do that? How do we build a better customer relationship? By segmentation, personalization, and connecting with persons on a one-to-one level. Me to you, you to them, one-to-one level, not a one-to-many relationship, one-to-one. And it comes down to segmentation and personalization, and automation is how you scale it. How do we do that? Well, we leverage the most intimate form of communication, which happens to be email and SMS. That's the most intimate way, the cheapest way for your brand to communicate with your customers at scale and actually see results. So our mission is to help small yet scaling brands level the playing field with the top brands. Again, if you don't know where you could be, you'll never get there, because you'll just be, trying to go from A to B when you probably have potential to go from A to Z much faster than you thought was possible. You may not even know Z exists. I'm on a mission to tell you it does. I've done it. I've been there. I'm now going to take you there. And the outcome is our clients unlock the true revenue potential from their list, create profitable, predictable, and sustainable revenue streams from their list 24/7, 365. How awesome would that be? So let's jump right into it. So what are our goals for this email and SMS roadmap, and why is it critical for growth? That's the most important part. Why do we need it, right? What are we struggling with right now that we need to stop what we're doing, pay attention, and get a roadmap for ourselves? Well, let's talk about why brands fail to plan. Okay, same thing. Why email and SMS really sucks without a plan. And I've been there. It sucks. It takes a lot of your time. It takes a lot of your energy. It takes a lot of back and forth, right? A lot of hope, spray and pray, right? That's what they call it, right? Why do brands fail to plan? Well, number one, no time, unimaginable time constraints. There's no time left in the day. We all get to that moment of like 4 or 5 p.m. and you're like, oh man, we need some revenue. We didn't get any customers today. Shoot out an email, fire off an email. That's how people are acting, right? Fire an email off. Most brands are also unsure about what the potential could be. Oh, I'm making, 20% of my revenue from email. I'm okay. I'm good. Maybe you're not profitable at all though. Who knows, right? Maybe you're actually churning a bunch of customers. Maybe there's a bunch of customers coming to your site right now that you're not capturing, and you're just paying more to Facebook and Google, making them rich instead of yourself rich, right? So you don't know what the potential could be. Also, brands are obsessed with vanity metrics or cosmetic stuff, which are like how the email looks, how it comes across, the gorgeous design, amazing copy. That's very important. But if you blend it with strategy, oh man, you have a winner. 1-2 punch right there. And also, a lot of brands tend to hold on to customer control. They like to say, no one's touching my customers. I'm the one responsible for it. It's my business. I need to be able to kind of like control that relationship. But to be honest, delegate and elevate. The more you outsource to experts, the more you trust them, the faster you will grow. I'm learning that in my own agency, right? I learned that when I was the VP of retention, same thing. As soon as I learned I could delegate and elevate, I did instantly. It saved me a lot of time. I could focus on bigger picture strategies. So in that case, what are the advantages of a roadmap? The advantages are, number one, You break free from the day-to-day weeds, right? You're not stuck in the weeds, obsessing over emails, sending this out. Did I hit this right audience? Did I do this? Did I do that? Break free from the day-to-day. Think month to month, quarter to quarter, year to year. That's the roadmap. You focus on retention goals, not just sending emails. Most of the time, right? As I said before, most brands are like month to month. They don't even have a campaign calendar. I've talked to literal multiple 8-figure, even 9-figure brands that don't have a campaign calendar. They have no plan for the month, let alone the year, let alone retention goals. How am I keeping customers loyal to my brand so they're not hopping over to my competitor? None of that, right? So if you're not even focused on, if you're obsessing over what do I send out today or this week, you're certainly not focused on retention goals, right? That's so far away from you. I'm here to help you shortcut that. In addition, you're not making data-driven decisions. It's your intuition. It's your feelings, right? I've worked with brands that have a chief marketing officer, a CEO, an owner, a marketing manager, right? Well, I'm not sure if your brand has all that, but I've worked with teams, massive teams that everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's got a feeling. Everyone's got intuition, a thought, okay? Because everyone's got an opinion, I have opinions too. Data is the tiebreaker. Your opinion, my opinion, data is a tiebreaker, okay? Making data-driven decisions will help you get to the next level. You also, when you have a plan, this is a 12-month plan. It allows you to shoot for the stars. And if you settle for the moon, that's already a massive win, okay? It's okay to not hit your roadmap, but if you shoot for the stars, settle for the moon. It also allows you to remove all these shiny new object distractions that are out there, right? All this noise. Around this time last year, ChatGPT came out. So what did you see in your feeds? What did you see in your ads? From people in your inboxes? AI, 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 AI. So everyone spent the whole year figuring out how to write prompts and how to do AI. And that's all good and well. But then you look at your email performance and you're like, I didn't even grow much. I just got off the phone with a brand, an 8-figure brand, that said, we just hired this CRO company to help me with AI to install heat maps on our site. And it took about 6 months. We invested some money. And guess what? As soon as we turned it off, conversion rate actually declined. What a waste. Because AI is a tactic. It's not a strategy. The tactic fits into your roadmap, not the other way around. So you need to remove the shiny new object syndrome, remove those shiny things that people are talking about and say, is it fit into my roadmap? And if so, where? Because the roadmap is here to get you where you need to go, not the other way around. And then finally, a roadmap allows you to hit monthly milestones and track your progress month after month after month. As soon as you hit 1 month, great. What does that mean? Month 2, we focus on what we learned in month 1 and on and on and on. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So that's why email really sucks without a plan. Email and SMS really sucks without a plan. You're going to be winging it the entire year. And you're going to look up, it's going to be Q4 again, and you'll be like, what did I accomplish this year? Worst possible scenario, your customers will go to your competitors, okay? Or they will phase you out in the inbox. You don't want that, trust me. So within this roadmap, my goal for you is to hit quarterly milestones. I have a 12-month roadmap, but I'm going to break it down into quarters, right? So the easy way to think about it is Q1, foundational. Okay, Q2, we have a goal of testing and learning. Q3, we refine based on what we tested and learned. And Q4, after we refined it, we are then set to scale. And it fits perfectly with really the e-commerce calendar. Set your foundation, test and learn, refine it, and scale right up in time for Q4. And I'm going to show you exactly how that works and why that's really important. Another way to look at it, because again, we're HiFlyer Digital, so we steal a lot of things from like Top Gun and like Aviator Nation and things like that. So it's like cool, it's like our cool brand. So this is the way to go from a runway to cruise control, right? You have that Q1 foundation, Q2 test and learn, Q3 refine it, and then you're set to scale and launch. And that's great. But it doesn't just stop there, right? You can do a roadmap the next year, and you'll be able to kind of build on what you learned the past year. And I'm going to show you an example of that. Here's an example. I usually do the case studies at the end, but this one's just a perfect fit right now. Here's a case study of a brand we started working with way back in 2020. And the reason I'm referencing 2020 right now is because that's a COVID year. So you can see a ton of potential for that brand during COVID years. And I'm going to show you exactly a snapshot of what they're doing this year too at the end of this webinar. 2021, year over year, an entire year went by. We grew them by 318% over a COVID year when e-commerce was booming. Okay, they grew by they're making 500 orders a year from email. Now we grew them to 2,500 orders from email, from $77,000 a year from email, which was nothing, terrible. They're making like 1 or 2% from email. We unlocked 323,000. How did we get there? What's the point of this? They had the roadmap. The roadmap. That's where it came down to, right? Month after month of small little changes help them scale to the next level throughout the year. Okay, that's what you want to see. That's where you want your brand to be, right? Start off with small changes. It may not be small, it may be huge, depending on your brand. Start off with changes, monthly goals, monthly milestones. By the end of the year, you're looking at numbers like this. Huge impact to your business. What would you do with an extra $250,000 for your brand, or an extra 2.5 million, or in some cases an extra 30 million, which I just talked about before. So let's do it. Let's get right in. I think we're actually running pretty well on time right now, considering we usually have a big kind of front end, but now let's get to the back end right now. So let's dive into our 12-month roadmap for email and SMS, and let's make it as manageable and as organized as possible. Now, I'm going to start here by saying, if you don't know what goals you want to hit in 2024, I want you to take the time after this webinar to write them down. Write down where you want to be, okay? I got off the phone the other day with a brand that literally said, another 8-figure brand. We work with 7 and 8-figure brands, so we got to get a good balance between 7 figures trying to get to scale up and 8-figure brands trying to get to that next level. So if you're a brand and you don't have a goal, you're going to miss out. We don't know how to fit in, right? Email and SMS doesn't know exactly where to fit into your overarching goals. But write down your goals right now. Say, I want to be able to, get to here, and here's how we're going to do it. I can then take that data and say, here's our calculator, and let's plug in some numbers, and here's how you're going to get there from the email side at least, right? We have relationships with paid search and acquisition, but here's how we get there from the email side. So take the time right after this webinar, write down your goals for your business, and make sure you stick to it. Try your best to stick to it. So Q1, month 1, 2, and 3. That's all about foundation, right? So you see right here, that's what we're diving into right now. So the first step you do is a foundational audit, right? You want to audit your email and SMS setup. This is before month 1. This is what you should be doing right now, right? At the end of December, audit your email and SMS setup. Does your current tech fit your goals, right? You've run your current tech right now. I have a brand that was on one ESP. We pretty much eclipsed their capabilities in about 60 days. And we saw that they probably could be better on a different ESP. So we're just kind of like, putting that in motion. Excuse me, they're trying to get that momentum for them, but not everyone's capable of doing that. Not everyone wants to switch, but you need to analyze that. Does your current tech fit your goals? Do you have the data you need to make decisions, right? Because that's really important. All that should be part of your audit. But then there are also changes that you should be aware of that are just macro changes that affect your brand. Gmail and Yahoo are making email changes in 2024, right? Every year there seems to be a major change, and everyone's talking about this major change. It's going to affect everything. It doesn't really always affect everything, but it's really important to be on the cutting edge. And that's, as us as an agency, we're always on the cutting edge of this. So some of the things you need to be aware of, you need demarket authentication. You have to make sure that you have no spam complaints above 0.3%. And you have to have easy unsubscribe options. Okay, that's that's the major changes. Now, if you're doing segmentation and personalization and following the HiFlyer digital strategy, you're in an excellent place because now you've zeroed in on your 80-20 segments, right? The 20% of your segments that should be mailed, they're attributing 80% of revenue, and you're not mailing too much, right? You're mailing the right people, not the most people. It's about sending better emails, not more emails. So if you're doing it that way, great. But if you aren't, you need to prepare for Gmail changes. So things that have worked for me that I think would work for your brand, add a subdomain. If you don't know what that is, look in your inbox at some of the top brands out there. They have a subdomain. They have info@em.wayfair.com or emails at promo.nordstrom.com, wherever it may be. That's a subdomain, correct? It's the domain before your main domain, and allows you to have a better deliverability, better reputation. Change the sender domain, Focus on segmentation, personalization. Make sure your unsubscribes are clear. And you have to work. Segmentation and personalization helps you with your spam, right? Who wants to unsubscribe or mark as spam an email that is personalized to them? No one, right? So focus on that strategy of one-to-one relationships. If you build a better customer relationship with the person behind the inbox, you will reduce your spam complaints automatically. It's magic, right? And you want to modify your templates, making sure that your templates are prepared for these changes. They're a good mix of images and text and, making sure it's easy to unsubscribe and all that stuff. I'm not going to get too in the weeds on that, but the point is a foundational audit. Prepare for 2024 right now before the changes hit. Let's dive into month one of our email and SMS roadmap right here. So the goal is in month one, campaign planning. Plan out your entire year. You can. It's not that hard. Plan your campaigns for the year. You want to incorporate seasonal campaigns, your promotions and offers, evergreen and content campaigns, things like that. Just put them all on a calendar. I have a campaign calendar we're rolling out. If you're on this webinar, you stay to the end. I will give you my 2024 email and SMS campaign calendar. Not done with it yet. It takes a lot of time, but not done with it fully yet. But if you wanted to start from scratch, I did a 1-minute video on TikTok that shows exactly, I'm on TikTok. The 1-minute video on TikTok that shows you exactly how to plan a calendar in 1 minute. Okay, here's how to do it. Step number one, start with your winners for 2023. What's considered an email winner? An email winner is something that is a campaign that generated over 5 or 10% of monthly revenue from your email program. Get them, put them on your calendar this year. In fact, double down on them. So if you did an email that was, let's say, a VIP 1-day sale, do a 2-day sale. Okay, double down on them. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Okay, that's the most important part. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't start from scratch. Otherwise, you're guessing every month. I've seen calendars out there that have totally nothing is consistent. There's nothing consistent every month. As a result, you're constantly guessing, what am I going to make this month? That's unacceptable. You need to have consistency. Email and SMS is consistent, so you can bank on it. That's step number one. Start with your winners. Step number two, roll in your holiday campaigns. Start peppering them throughout your campaign calendar. Labor Day. Start with your big holidays. Labor Day, Memorial Day, President's Week, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That's tier number one. Tier number two, add in your 1-day holidays. Mother's Day, Father's Day, Martin Luther King Day. All those 1-day holidays have potential to drive revenue. People are shopping during those days. So you really want to tie in to those 1-day holidays. And then tier number three, endemic holidays, holidays that are relevant to you. International Coffee Day, for example, if you sell coffee, or International, Pancake Day, if you sell pancakes. Tie in those holidays and add them all to your calendar. You'll see that at that point, your calendar is probably about 50 to 60% full. Okay. You also want to make sure you double down on them. Instead of doing one campaign for President's Day, do 3 or 4. Okay. Because it's a winner. Why wing it? Just double down on what works. Most important part. Step number 3, now that your calendar is about 60% full, sprinkle in evergreen emails. Evergreen emails are emails you can send out consistently, and they usually work. They usually do drive a good amount of revenue. New arrivals. There's always something new on your store every month. I'm not saying a new product all the time, but there's always something new. There's bestsellers. There's always new bestsellers in February, and the bestsellers in February are different than the bestsellers in August. So have a bestsellers email every month. Best of the month. Maybe your best promotions and your offers are extended till the end of the month. So do one final best of at the end of the month, right? Do a new arrivals, the new offers for the month came in on July 1st. Do a new arrivals. It's ending. Do a best of, right? There you go. That's your evergreen emails. And the cool thing about evergreen emails, if you're ever in a pinch and you need to kind of drive some revenue, and we've all been in that boat. You need to make some money. You need to pay your bills. You need to get some cash, right? You can just copy and paste it and run it out again. It's an evergreen email. You can just run it and be done. You don't have to wing it with, hey, let's do an email about the COP, how our thought process goes into our this to this. That's all nice and well. You can add that to your calendar, of course, but don't wing it. These are tried and true. And then finally, step 4, after you filled up your calendar, it should be about 80, 90% full right now. Step 4, then you search for new ideas. Let's try a new one, right? Now you have 80 to 90% of your revenue covered, locked and loaded, and then you can afford to try new things. Okay, so that's how you build it out. That's, in my experience, that's worked really well for the brands I work with. And that's worked for the 9 and 10 figure brands. This is how they plan it. This isn't me just telling you, this is how they do it. Okay. I've seen it time and time again. Here's an example of how that works. Hopefully you can see my screen pretty well. This is a sample of August 2023 calendar right here. We have the green are emails, the pink are like SMS, and the orange are automations. So you can see right here, we have new in August, the travel picks, CRM upgrade. That's where we try to get buyers from 1 time to 2 time, 2 to 3. World Photography Week was a focus that week. Shop the shot. We want to send an email all about kind of like, how do we get that shot? This is for a photo and video camera brand. How do we get that shot? Happy World Photography Day. NPA, a new product announcement came out. We want to send that. Summer bestsellers. That's an evergreen email right there. And then look at the bottom. You see here Labor Day we surrounded it. You have best of Labor Day on the 2nd. You have Labor Day early access. That's EA on the 29th. And you have Labor Day early access for SMS all the way on the 27th, right? That's a whole different strategy. Talk about SMS, right? You want to reward your SMS subscribers early. So here is a pretty solid calendar that I really didn't need to create anything new. The only thing we really created new was World Photography Week, because that was an important holiday for this brand, important thing to add. But travel picks, new in August, summer bestsellers, and Labor Day, easy standard campaigns. I can pretty much run that out every month. In my calendar, I'll get probably 80 to 90% the same revenue I get every single month, like clockwork. No winging it, only winning it. What am I doing to drive more revenue every month? Testing. Okay, that's the beauty of it. And on top of it, we also are adding in new automations. So on the 12th, we were adding in retention.com automations. We were onboarding retention.com at the time. Great tool, highly recommend it. And towards the end of the month on the 31st, we were adding in post-purchase, our post-purchase automation there. Again, the strategy is segmentation, personalization, and then automation, because you want to break free from the day-to-day. So that's a sample calendar right there that I don't have to keep winging it every month with new ideas and strategies and made-up holidays. Made-up holidays are not the way to go. Focus on doubling down on your top performers. So that's all month number 1, campaign calendar. Month 2, you want to dive into your single source of truth. You want to get your reporting and analytics up. Why? Because it allows you to make data-driven decisions. You want to unify your email and SMS tech. I'm a big fan of unifying it. If you're on one platform for email and one platform for SMS and one platform for push and one platform for mailers, that just gets messy. My experience, I say bring it all to one, right? Maximize the potential of it and then layer on more if you need. Go beyond email and SMS metrics. You want to focus on a report that allows you to make some decisions later on, right? Things like, how's our campaigns and flows working? How's our open rate, click-through rate, conversion rate, click-to-conversion rate? How many net new subs do we have versus unsubs? What's our segment tracking? How many clickers are we getting versus openers, right? How many buyers are we getting versus non-buyers, right? Track your sign-up sources as well. You can also track customer migrations. A migration, which I think I'll talk about in the next slide, but customer migration is how many customers are going from 0 to 1, right? From non-buyer to a one-time buyer, and how many are going from a one-time buyer to a two-time buyer. That increases lifetime value as you get them to buy more. And then churn and risk of churn. How many customers are falling off, right? We're never hearing from them again. We bought once and they're done. One and done. You'll find a lot of those during your holiday season. Track it all. And you can also add in macro reporting, such as Google Analytics. Maybe your CDP has data you want to track, e-commerce, Shopify metrics you want to track. The whole point of this month is to zero in on the metrics that matter most to your brand. Don't have the most data, have the best data that you will use to make your decisions going forward. This is all part of that Q1 foundations, okay? You'll see later on in our refine and test and refine stages, quarters, you will see that this data will come in extremely handy. So set that foundation down. Month number 3, right? We did our basic email and SMS metrics, but in month number 3, you want to also create CRM goals. Now, this isn't dedicating your entire month to just focusing on CRM goals or lifetime value or retention. This is saying, make sure you dedicate time in the month to get it done. Okay. This isn't saying like your 9 to 5 every day is checking out your CRM goals. No, get it done. Just kind of make a plan. Put it on someone's plate. Tell them it's due by the end of the month, right? Get it done. So the goal here is to expand beyond sending emails to building better customer relationships. Every relationship starts with a click, as I always say, and you want to build a better customer relationship with the person behind the inbox. So you need to make customer retention a high priority. So build out and track your life cycle stages. How many new customers do you have? How many active customers do you have? How many VIP customers do you have? Your definition is up to you, totally up to you. Don't say that it's a VIP customer to me is someone who buys 5 times, whereas a VIP customer, some others say, is 10 times. Whatever you define as a VIP customer, own it and track it. Churn, risk of churn, as I said before, dormant customers, customers who just haven't bought in a while. It's very similar to churn customers. Non-buyers, who was on your list that hasn't done anything. Let's kind of figure out how if that number is growing or shrinking. And then also omni-channel for those who have a store or maybe sell on Amazon. You can actually track those life cycle stages using some other advanced tools, but usually in Klaviyo or OmniSend, you can track in store or online as well. The next part of that is tag and track your migrations with automations. So what you can do is turn on some automations that don't drive revenue. They're just there to track them. Okay, so if a new one-time buyer comes into the fold, we just did a use case of this. TikTok was driving a lot of one-time buyers for this brand. Now, it's my job to retain that customer for a lifetime, build a long lifetime value so we can have a prediction how much to spend on TikTok, how much will that lead to new customers that will then grow into lifetime customers. So I need to create an automation that tracks them and tags them. I'm not going to do it every day, but I'm going to set an automation to do it for me. The next part is once you have that data and you know what your customer CRM goals are, you can then scope out, oh man, what do we need to do to get those one-time buyers to 2-time? What automations do we need to turn on? Post-purchase, replenishment, reviews, whatever it may be. You can now start scoping out for the future. So it all starts with tracking, getting your goals. You see how this is all foundational now, right? Month 1, first we did our audit, see where we're holding. Month 1, then we did our campaign planning. Month 2, we did our email and SMS reporting. Month 3, we did our CRM goals. You're in a good place to say, I'm prepared to track the results for the quarter. Now let's see how we can move the needle. So let's jump right into Q2, right? Now that we did month 1, Q1, the foundation, we're now going to Q2, which is our test and learn quarter. It's all about testing, all about learning. If you're not testing, you're not learning. If you're not learning, you're not refining. You don't know what to refine. You're winging it, right? So let's talk about month 4. Month 4, the goal is to build a testing roadmap because you want to test, learn, and refine constantly. You need to build and commit to a testing roadmap. Here's an example of my testing roadmap. This is going to be created in my Notion board, maybe my Monday board, not sure which one. And we are making it very clear about what to test, how often to test it, and how to get some learnings from it to actually make it actionable, okay? You can't just run a fake test. You have to run a real test. I can't begin to imagine, I can't even tell you how many brands look at a test as like, I sent a campaign, I did a subject line test, and it doesn't work. Not a test. That's a guess. That's gambling. That's all it is. It's not a test. Don't just run a one-off campaign. Ensure you have a good sample size, as a good population. You have a good hypothesis behind it. This sounds technical, but it's really not. That you have a mindset about where you want to go and how you want to get there. And you run the test. And you run it 4 to 8 campaigns, right? Or test over 8 campaigns. And you do 10-80 split. Now the goal is not to run a test for the sake of a test. You don't want to sacrifice your revenue to run a test as much as possible, right? You want to run it on a nice population size and then roll out the winner instantly with the rest of the population, right? So you don't risk revenue. Okay. You can also do multiple tests if you're doing segmentation and personalization. I'll give a great example. If I have a segment that constantly opens emails but never clicks emails, well, what do you think my test is going to be? It's not going to be a subject line test. It's going to be a creative test, right? I don't need a subject line test from them because they're opening these emails. But let's take people who are not opening emails anymore. What am I going to test there? Subject line testing or send time optimization, right? Because they're not even opening. I don't need a design test. They're not even opening the email. See how we're going, how we're thinking about it? You got to think deeper than what people are telling you. You got to think logically. And this testing roadmap has a whole bunch of different tests you could run. Creative testing, subject line testing, send time optimization, segment testing, third-party tools testing, content versus text versus image, copy, length of email, all this stuff in there. More than you'll get it as if you stay to the end, you'll get it as part of that. I'm just making it a little bit more cooler on like a Notion board, but you can have all these tests and run it out yourself. But really, the goal is in month 4, build a roadmap and commit to it and live and die by it. Here's why testing matters. Okay, this is the big one. I'll give it a quick example. And these are fake creatives. We built it out in Canva. We just want to kind of show an example of it. These aren't the final creatives at all, but this is a brand we worked with. I didn't want to show too much about them, but this brand used to run a VIP one-day sale. And we did a static version, basic version. You're sending out to your list. This is what they were doing before. We sent it out to 617,000 emails. It made $109,000 in sales. Not bad. You can go sleep at night with that number. It's not bad. But we implemented our testing strategy. Okay, segmentation, personalization. We built out segments. We personalized the email to that segment. An example would be Canon buyers get a Canon one-day sale. Apple buyers get an Apple one-day sale. And the links are different. The items within the email are different. Everything top down from subject line to the very bottom of the email, all personalized to the segment. What happened? That's all part of our C4 design playbook. So what happened? We sent to 50% fewer emails and we made $190,000 in sales, 70% more revenue. 50% fewer emails, 70% more revenue. What does that tell you? Segmentation, personalization. And then the magic about what we do, we automate it from there. So segmentation, personalization, fewer emails, more revenue. Who wouldn't want that? It works. It wins, but you have to embrace a culture of testing. That's why testing matters. Once we prove this out, and we ran this not just one campaign, we ran this over a series of about 3 to 4 months. We then committed to it, and every email from there on was similar to this. And why do brands do that? Because it takes a lot of time. It's time consuming. I'll be the first to tell you, it took a lot of time. But if you do it well, that's how you unlock the revenue potential of your list. So clear example of why testing matters right here. Month 5, let's talk about the next stage in our roadmap here. Expand your automations, right? And the cool thing about this is that the goal should be small incremental changes equal huge incremental revenue wins. Okay, imagine you had a small little change to your cart abandoned email. That could lead to an extra $60,000 in revenue this month. Small incremental changes. That's what we want to do. Most brands tend to turn on the out-of-the-box flows from Klaviyo, Omnisend, or other ESPs out there, and they let it run. Like, I have them done. They're done. What do I need to worry about? They're done. Well, they're out-of-the-box flows, right? It's like me taking, you can soup it up. You can create a whole new environment out of it, right? Someone gets a video game system. You don't get the video game system like I bought it. No, you expand into whole different worlds. My kids are playing Roblox every day. They're expanding into these all new worlds that people are building. It's just an immersive experience. You got to optimize those. You got to optimize those out-of-box flows. You can also now scope out the new or optimized automations that you need to build based on your data that you did in Q1, right? Oh, we don't have post-purchase. Well, we better start expanding it. We better start building it, right? Now's the time to build it. Use data from Q1 to get the buy-in. Start examining your transactional emails, create category browse emails, do account-based emails, how you can optimize them, order, shipping, delivered confirmations, build out your post-purchase hourglass strategy, right? All these should be in month 5. Why in month 5? Because if you do it in month 1, you don't know if it's going to work. You don't have the data. You need to prove it, okay? Now that you know that there's a gap, month 5, you can start building it. Test it, let it run. Month 7, 8, and 9, you scale it, okay? That's what we're doing it now. So build out those automations. I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek at one of the automations on the kind of how you think about the opportunities. Here's one from I'll just go through this briefly. Here's an example of how you can expand the abandoned automations, right? Most people think about cart abandon, right? And then maybe they think about browse abandon. But you can have an automation for checkout abandon too. You can also have an automation for search abandon, right? How someone searches. It's a little more technical, but you can also have an automation for website abandon. Imagine you turning on all 5 of these abandoned automations. You've hit every point of a customer's pre-purchase journey. You've solved every single stage. Website abandon maybe talks about your business a little bit. Search abandoned talks about what they were searching for. Browse abandoned talks about what they actually viewed. Cart abandoned talks about what's in their cart, right? Checkout tells them, hey, come across the finish line, right? So you now have different stages of automations that you can expand on, and that's how you expand it, right? And that's just looking at it from the angle of the abandoned side. You can also do multiple touches for cart. You can expand cart to email and SMS. It's on my masterclass. Check it out. Emailmasterclass.com. You can see how at the top brands, how I would expand a cart abandoned automation to really kick ass. No joke. It kicks ass. And the top brands use it all the time. You'll see it for yourself. Email, phone, Facebook, Google, SMS, all in cart abandon, all orchestrated in the best way possible. It's entirely possible for you to create that. So that's how to think about expanding your automations. Okay, month 6, right? We're now ending the quarter. Month 6, product triggers. Very basic, easy to understand. Now that you understand what automations you need to build a better customer relationship, now you can focus a little bit more on the product-driven triggers that bolster conversions, right? You blend your customer-centric strategy with your product-centric needs. So you can identify the right product data. Do we have a trigger that says where our low in stock items are? Do we have a trigger that says back in stock? Do we have a trigger for reviews? How are we handling that, right? You can target high intent people, not just opt-in intent. An example of that, someone subscribes for back in stock for a certain item, like this Cause Sesame Street sweatshirt, right? Great. But what about people who viewed the item? You can expand that automation to those people because they viewed it, didn't sign up for it, but still may be interested in buying. So you can target a good population from those product triggers. Some of the high performing triggers, as we probably all know, this is a relatively easy month. Back in stock, low in stock, replenishment, new arrivals, review submission, all in this month. Focus on those because they're really important. Okay, now we got through Q2 relatively fast, right? Q2 was all about testing and learning, right? We want to test what's working, what's not working. Now is where we find out what's working, what's not working. We look at the data from Q1. Did we improve? Right? Okay, now how do we refine what we need to refine? And how do we invest in making sure we close any gaps so we're ready to scale, right? That's where the Q3 happens, right? That's really, a lot of times it's usually around the summer where we start looking at new tech, looking at new opportunities, new apps, new technology. And it's a great time, which is why month 7 and month 6 and 7 are kind of interchangeable sometimes. I like to have month 7 now as tools, tech, and apps. This is where you find additive tech and apps that will enhance your email and SMS performance. You want to find ones that add on. Remember I talked to you about before on, I think it was month 1 or foundational. Find the ones that are maximize the potential of your tech, unify your email and SMS together. So therefore, when you need to add on a new technology, a new app, a new vendor, you're not kind of like duplicating it. Right? It's not duplicative. You want to find the incrementality behind it, right? So, and the most important part also, make sure you're adopting the tech you have. Only 10% of tech is ever adopted. So you really want to maximize the potential of your platform. My team spent a whole quarter diving into the capabilities of our technology, which then allowed us in Q2 and Q3 to really say, oh, this is capable of doing it. Let's make it happen. I just need this data point from my tech team. And once they got it in, I was sailing, I was cruising, right? So you'll be surprised. Once you absorb how much your tech is capable of, you can probably just use it and then see how it goes. And then once you outgrow it, you add on. So non-duplicative, enhanced tech only, 10% of tech is adopted. Find apps and tech for social media. SMS, another great area. I would invest in SMS heavily in 2024, 100%. Light boxes, search, push notifications. Which apps and tech do that for you? Retention.com, in-store ID match. All these are great tech to layer in and test them out. Okay, now's the time to add in the tech, test it out, see how it's going, see if it helps provide a lift based on the data you have already. Excuse me. Month 8, now is where we get a little bit more advanced, right? Again, we're refining based on what we did in Q2. So month 8, I found it really good to invest in AI and predictive. The goal here is to create more advanced segmentation and personalization. By now, per our roadmap, you've already got a good foundation. You've already tested and learned what's possible on your list. Now we're going to get more advanced. And this is where AI and predictive comes in. You can continue testing new AI tools, tech, and apps for month 6 and 7, but you really want to find the true incrementality. Find the vendors that are adding more to your brand, adding more to your list, right? Adding more value to your customers. When you have a goal of building a better customer relationship, you can now say to yourself, is this tech, are these apps helping me build a better customer relationship? It's not necessarily saying, how can this tech help me send better emails? You want to help build a better customer relationship at the end of the day. And using AI and predictive, you can find advanced segmentation, such as who's most likely to unsubscribe, who's most likely to open, click, buy, churn. You can use predictive to predict the customer lifetime value as well. You got to think about it. Klaviyo has capabilities of doing this. Most of the time, brands just don't have time to do it, but you have those capabilities at your fingertips. So you need to start investing a month dedicated to say, let's build these out, let's take it seriously and see if it works. Because when the holidays hit, I want to be able to scale. You can use machine learning for dynamic product emails and automations. Those work extremely well, all powered by AI and predictive. Remember, AI is not just AI and copy or ChatGPT. It's also machine learning, right? That's really what it comes down to. So that's month number 8. Dedicate that month towards AI and predictive. Now that we got that out of the way, we want to now focus month 9 on list growth and hygiene. Again, you already understand, you have the foundation set, you have a good amount of testing done, you've now refined, closed some of the gaps. Now you're starting to get to the mode of scaling, right? You're starting to get to the mode of, okay, I just need more people now. I just need more people to my site. I need more people to my list because I've already done a great job. Now I just need more. So now in month 9, you want to maximize your list growth and your customer acquisition costs. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about paid ads or media or TikTok or Facebook or anything like that on this video, on this webinar. It's not necessarily what I specialize in specifically. I work very closely. One of my partners does it, and we do such a great job. But there's no ego work here, right? We work with other channels, and we want to have an email SMS acquisition strategy, growth engine, build your customer journey, test your landing pages, your offers, nurture relationships, and incorporate influencers into this mix. That's all on list growth and hygiene. You want to build your list because you have the foundation set. Finally, month Q4, I'm going to kind of like go through this relatively fast, mainly because we're in Q4 right now, so you kind of understand the goals of it. But month 10, Q4 planning. Plan your Q4 well in advance. The top 1% plan Q4 in June, so you're behind already. If you want to get into it right away, if you're planning in October, which will be month 10, you're already behind. So you want to make sure that you're not behind by planning it all well in advance. So do your promotional planning, holiday calendar, Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend plan, do your tech review and audit, and your inventory and merchandising all at once. All here in this month is when you plan out your entire Q4. Again, we're beyond Q4 right now. We're about to end the year. So this you probably have done already, or it's not necessarily as relevant to you, but now we're in kind of like scale mode. Month 11 is all about the holiday war room. How do we get Black Friday, Cyber Monday to really rock? So our goal is to get holiday buyers to buy 2 times. We want to focus on winning sales early. You want to work backwards from fulfillment, making sure you can deliver the items in time. Create a multi-channel strategy, not just email, but email, SMS, push, in-store, you name it. Optimize your holiday templates, dynamic everything. Make sure every email you have is dynamic, and roll out your Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend plan. The goal is to get holiday buyers to buy twice. And even now in this holiday season, you should still be focusing on that, right? You got them to buy during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Get them to buy a gift card. You'll be surprised how much it impacts your bottom line. Month 12. Now we're at the final end of the year, and this is what you're doing right now on this video. Now is to set your goals for the next year, right? Set your goals, vision, and strategy. Measure your key KPIs over last year. Go beyond revenue, right? Do your annual business review, right? You want to do your state of business from ownership, seeing what exactly the goals are for your brand going forward. Do an email and SMS audit again, state of the customer report, 12-month goals, exactly what you're doing in this webinar. This is what you're going to do for your own brand. And again, another roadmap. That's the key part. So again, I skipped over this one quickly because, well, we're doing that right now. But you understand exactly what you need to do as a brand to get to the next level in 2025. Okay, now that we kind of completed the whole roadmap, I want to make sure we're at time. Let's jump into just a couple quick case studies that show exactly the power of building out your roadmap. I talked about this before, where we have one brand grew by 380% year over year, 7-figure brand, went from $77,000 a year in email to 323,000 because of this roadmap. And this year, just going to give you another quick glance at it. This year alone, they grew by another 30%, right? Just grew and grew and grew because this roadmap is very fluid. You run it for 1 year, it's great. Next year, you improve on it, expand on it. The next year after, you keep expanding on it. So you can continue to see email and SMS revenue growth year over year just by following the steps. And sometimes we don't always hit every step, right? Not everyone hits every goal. Things happen, priorities happen. So what you didn't hit this year, you'll put on your roadmap for next year. And that's how it works. That's business, right? Another case study, as I said before, this brand, $2 billion retailer, went from 6% of revenue from email to 14% of revenue from email, from 10 million to 30 million in 1 year because of the roadmap. It works. It works. It works for the 7-figure brand to the 10-figure brand because they have a plan. If you don't have time to make a plan, you won't hit those goals. And here's just a smaller window where we rolled out our roadmap in the first 3 months. This brand went from $112,000 in revenue from email to $354,000 in revenue from email between the months of February and May. It's like nothing going on really there. February and May, they went from $112,000 to $354,000 because of the plan, because they followed the roadmap that I told them to do. That was great, and it just works for brands all over. Doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are. It helps your brand grow at any stage, at any month of the year. You start the roadmap there, that's fine, as long as you get started. I said our strategy works for $1 million to $1 billion e-commerce brands. We focus on the 7-figure and 8-figure brands, but it works for all of them. You can go to HiFlyerDigital.com/book, read some more case studies as well. Okay, so let me recap this really quickly. Promises made, promises kept. I told you we would complete a 2024 email SMS strategy at half the time. You learned how the top brands plan their entire year. You saw the value of having a roadmap, and you know where you want to be by the end of 2024 into 2025. I've implemented quarterly goals and strategies and tech to go from crawl, walk, run to fly. You have clarity for every single goal in every single quarter. And you remove distractions. No more distractions. You have clear monthly plan. And you've created reporting analytics to help you make data-driven decisions. And step number 3, we've helped you set your business up to scale by 300% within 12 months. Like I said, you see the impact, clearly the clear impact that brands get when they implement a roadmap. That's all in those case studies. And you see the true power of email and SMS like never before. We're not just trying to grow by 5% here. We want to grow by 100%, 200%. This is how you get it done. Perfect. I want to make sure my camera doesn't die soon because we're consuming a lot, but let's jump right into it. Next steps, I'll breeze through this to make right at time. Get your retention ready for 2024. Here's how to do it. Okay, get a free pre-2024 audit. On this audit, I will tell you exactly where you're holding now on email and SMS. We'll review your customer journey, your design, your emails, your copy. I'll give you an ROI calculator that will predict your potential, show you where you are now, where you could be, and how you're going to get there. I'm going to give you campaign feedback, automation ideas, review retargeting experience, all that for free. It's about a 45-minute session, all for free to get you started for 2024. If you want to take a quick scan, you can scan this QR code. Look at how we do an audit for an 8-figure brand. You'll be blown away, guaranteed. This is one of our best performing ads right now. Scan the code, check out how we do an audit. I guarantee you'll be blown away. And as promised, I want you to get this entire value for free, $13,000. If you're an e-commerce brand, simply shoot an email over to strategist@HiFlyerDigital.com. We will send this all to you. We just want to confirm you're an e-commerce brand. Like I said, we get a lot of agencies and freelancers always looking for goodies, but we want to send this out to the brands to help them scale. So just email strategist@HiFlyerDigital.com. We will send all this stuff out to you absolutely free, all yours. So that's it, right at time. Wow. So you can win 2024 in 15 minutes just by getting that free expert order. Book a free discovery call. I will implement this roadmap for you, help you unlock the revenue potential that's currently sitting on your list right now. And it takes a brand expert from the top brands to help you get there. If you know the potential and what you could be, you'll never get there. You'll just be selling for, going from A to B when you could be going from A to Z much faster than you thought. So book a free expert audit. I really hope this roadmap was helpful. I'm going to be sharing this with my list and getting those brands set up to succeed in 2024 right now. So book a free audit. More than happy to look at your brand, see what you're doing well, where there's room for improvement, what the revenue gap looks like, and how we're going to unlock it together. Thanks for joining me. Super excited to see you there. And I will see you on the next webinar and on the meeting. Have a good one.